With us now to break down these two massive stories, Andrew Stoltman and Brian Claypool, both criminal defense attorneys. So, Brian, let's start with Kohberger. Do you think they could have gotten a conviction if this had gone to trial?
Hey, Katie, are you kidding me? Absolutely. I mean, if you've ever seen a slam dunk murder case, it was this. You have a leather sheath on the knife that was used in the murder that matches his DNA, number one. You've got video surveillance of his car racing outside the house at or about the time of the murder. And then you've got his cell phone that had pinged in that area a bunch of times, but all of a sudden went silent for 2 hours. Then you've got video footage of him in a store buying some goods that were matched to the scene of the crime. So, in my opinion, the prosecutors were cowardly in this case. If death penalties are on the books for a reason, that's to provide a deterrent for people like this psychopath from killing innocent young people, Katie. And if this prosecutor, if you know you've got a case that you can win, why are you selling your soul to a guy like that? Take the case to trial, get your conviction, and then maybe this guy will fess up at the sentencing hearing. Maybe he'll then tell the families why he did this. You do it this way, and these family members now are never going to really know why this psychopath did what he did.
Yeah, this murderer took the lives of 4 young people and then decided to opt out of the death penalty for himself with this plea deal. But, Andrew, despite the fact that he took this deal, you don't think it would have been such a slam dunk at trial?
No, you never know what's going to happen at a trial. And look, I think the most important thing is even if he was convicted, and I do think he would have been convicted, there's no guarantee that he would have got the death penalty. He has certain mental issues, claimed mental issues, like autism, OCD, and some other conditions that likely would have meant he would not have got the death penalty. And look, I'm just thinking from the victim's perspective, more specifically their parents and family members. Going through a trial like this is brutal. Going through years of appeals is absolutely brutal. So I think the family members, though some of them don't feel it now, I think they are spared an emotional roller coaster, and I think prosecutors made a good decision to do this.
You know, Brian, it's not that it was just the parents some of the parents who were uncomfortable with this plea deal. The judge also had some things to say about it in the courtroom. Take a listen to this.
I want to offer my apologies to all the families, including the victims' families, the families of the defendant, for the short notice for today's hearing, and I'm sure what must have been the hurried efforts to get here. I, like most everyone else, learned of this plea agreement Monday afternoon and had no inkling of it beforehand.
Brian, in response to that.
Yeah, what's up with that? It's a circus with these prosecutors. They had a moral obligation to take their time, Katie. And one of their letters was, oh, we consulted with available family members, the key word available. They sent out a note last week. If the parents weren't around, they went ahead and copped this plea deal with the devil without even talking to some of the families. They owed an obligation to sit down with these family members, find out what their sentiments were, and take their time and do a deliberate and thoughtful approach to a plea deal like this. Katie, I will tell you, I've done some very bad sex abuse trials. And believe it or not, I hear what Andrew's saying, but a lot of these family members actually go through therapy when they sit through a trial like that, and they're able to look this guy in the face, see him squirm there for 2 or 3 months. That actually can help them move through the grief. Now they got to spend the rest of their life like having this guy playing cards and lifting weights in jail.
Yeah, I just hope that the families eventually find out exactly what happened and get some more answers, especially given that at least some of them were hurried into this plea deal and weren't given the full picture. But speaking of sex crimes, of course, this big other case is the Sean Diddy Combs case. Andrew, do you think the prosecutors overreached, given that he was not convicted on all of the charges they thought that they were going to be able to prove in court?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, the arrogance coming out of the Southern District of New York is absolutely incredible. They like to call themselves the New York Yankees of federal prosecutors. Well, guess what? You lost because you weren't going up against a poor African-American kid who didn't have the resources to fight you. You had a defendant that had a $400 million net worth and used every single penny of it in order to beat these charges. So, yeah, look, I think this guy is a bad guy. He's a monster. He's a sexual deviant. But these charges at the federal level never should have been brought. This is not a RICO case. There's no criminal organization here. These should have been state-based charges in New York. He should have been convicted there. And I think Southern District of New York has massive egg on their face.
So, Brian, the attorney, the legal team for Sean Diddy Combs spoke recently outside the courtroom and said that their client is feeling good despite the fact that there may be some prison time here. It's not like he got off scot-free. He still got convicted of 2 very serious charges.
Yeah, Katie, so he's facing, if it's what's called a concurrent sentence, then he's facing up to 10 years in jail. He's not going to get 10 for each crime. I think the judge in this case is going to do what's called a concurrent sentence. That said, I think the federal government is going to ask for probably 5 years. And what you have to look at is what's called a base level. And the base level here, it goes from 1 to 43, Katie, for federal criminal trials. And here, I think Sean Combs is at a 14 because he has no prior convictions. So with that, I think he's looking at, he's probably looking at 15 to 21 months.
Well, we will be waiting for that sentencing. Thank you both for your expertise tonight on 2 absolutely horrific cases. Thank you.